Good morning. Thanks for watching Living Local. Today's a fun story because it's all about the top 5 tips and tricks for shooting better pictures and videos with your phone. So we know phones have come a long way, and so now they're used for so many professional things and even videos like this that'll end up on air. So we've got our resident expert, or my resident expert, my cameraman Charles, who is much better at this stuff than I am. So I'm gonna let him take it over and give you these top 5 tips in case you wanna step up your camera game.
Hi Rainey, and thank you so much for that compliment, by the way. So I'm just going to start by saying this, that mobile phone cameras have come such a long way in the past few years. I mean, let's face it, these cameras are doing so many micro computations in fractions of a second, all behind the scenes that we don't even know about, that can make the most novice photographer look as though he's had years of training. And that's exciting. But there are a few things that are often overlooked that I'm going to share with you today that I hope will help you step up your mobile photography game just a little bit more. So, tip number 1, and this is the most neglected: clean the lens of your camera. I am often asked, hey, can you take a look at my camera? The images are really bad. They're just foggy. It almost looks like I have cataracts, or the camera won't even focus sometimes. And generally, when I look at the back of the camera, it's because of this: grease, junk, debris, dirt, fingerprints, everything. So I always tell people, carry a lens cleaning cloth with you and just wipe your phone down one good time before you take your photo. Now I know a lot of people are saying, well, I don't want to have to carry anything more in my pockets. And you don't. I put mine in the back of my cell phone case, just like this. Therefore, when I need it, I just take it out of the case, wipe my lens off, put it back in, put the case back on, and I'm good to go. It's always there with me. Problem solved. Tip number 2. Shooting in low light scenarios. Now notice I didn't say shooting at night, I said shooting in low light, like walking into a building that doesn't have much light or going outside into a nice shady area. Sometimes this will drop the shutter speed down slow enough to where if you were shooting a moving subject, it would come out as a blurry image. The number 1 pro tip to solve that is shooting in burst mode. Now most, if not all, smartphone cameras will have a burst mode option. Basically what you do is you hold the camera down, let it take about 10 to 15 shots, and I guarantee you at least one of those shots is going to be tack sharp. Tip number 3. Now this consists of composition, or the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is the first thing you're going to learn in photography, and basically it's like a guide or a rule of thumb into creating a balanced image from subject matter to negative space. Now most smartphone cameras will have an option to turn on a grid overlay, and that is going to have 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines. And in between those lines, you're going to have 4 points of intersection. Now, these points are going to be the best place to put your subject, whether it's a person, place, or thing, to create that most balanced image. Now, is it a law that you have to use the rule of thirds? No, but it's just a suggestion. Tip number 4, and this one gets neglected quite a bit and is probably the most asked question. That is, which should I shoot, portrait or landscape? And I always tell people, well, you're the photographer, you're the creator, you decide that. My general rule of thumb is if I'm focusing on a subject and I'm not really worried too much about the background, I'm going to shoot in portrait mode. If that subject is in a nice, beautiful, scenic background and I want to show the audience where they are located, then I'm going to shoot in landscape. But to resolve that issue, just shoot in portrait and landscape, and then you've got both. You can decide which one you like better when you get back to the editing computer. Okay, last but not least, tip number 5, and this one deals with video and is probably the one that gets people miffed the most. And that is, should I film horizontally or should I film vertically? Well, I always tell people, think about television or think about movies. All of those things are filmed horizontally. Now, with the growing age of TikTok, Snapchat, IGTV, things like that that are promoting the vertical video, that's perfectly fine. I always say it's a little bit easier to change a horizontal video with a few extra steps into a vertical video when you really can't change too well a vertical video into a horizontal. You get those blurry, distracting bars on the sides, which no one really likes anyway. So, well, that about wraps it up for today, guys. I hope you have found this video to be very entertaining. I hope it has educated you in some way, shape, or form, and you've gotten something out of it and maybe taken your photography to a newer level. Thanks to Rainey for letting me step in today for her on Living Local, and we'll see you next time.